There are few cars in automotive history that have achieved the perfect balance between performance, luxury, and daily usability. The 2003 BMW M5, known by its chassis code E39, is one of them. A true masterpiece of engineering, this car took the concept of the high-performance sedan and perfected it. But even legends fade with time, and the E39 M5 is no exception. Today, we're bringing one back from the brink, restoring a 2003 BMW M5 to its former glory. I found this particular M5 sitting, neglected in a storage unit, coated in a thick layer of dust, its once sleek Le Mans blue paint dulled by years of neglect. The previous owner had parked it after a series of mechanical issues left it unreliable. With nearly 200,000 miles on the clock, it had seen better days, but I knew the bones of this car were still solid. The E39 M5 is too special to let go to waste. Under the hood, the heart of this machine, the 4.9-liter S62 V8, sat lifeless, but I was determined to bring it back to life. Before tackling the mechanical side, I wanted to assess the bodywork. Years of exposure had taken a toll on the clear coat, and a few minor rust spots had formed along the wheel arches. I carefully removed the front and rear bumpers to inspect for hidden damage. Fortunately, despite the rough exterior, the structure underneath was sound. It was clear that with the right approach, this M5 could shine again. With the bodywork evaluated, I turned my attention to the engine, arguably the soul of this car. The S62 V8 was ahead of its time, featuring individual throttle bodies, Vanos variable valve timing, and a screaming 7,000 RPM redline, but after years of neglect, it was in dire need of a refresh. I started by draining the old sludgy oil and coolant, both of which showed signs of long-term degradation. The valve cover gaskets were leaking badly, a common issue on these motors, so I pulled the covers to replace them. Beneath, the valve train looked surprisingly clean, a good sign that the engine hadn't suffered serious neglect internally. Next came the suspension. The E39 chassis is known for its impeccable handling, but this M5's ride felt loose and unresponsive. A closer inspection revealed worn-out control arms, tired shocks, and cracked bushings. I opted for a full refresh, replacing the front and rear control arms, upgrading the shocks to Bilstein dampers, and swapping in polyurethane bushings for improved precision. The original steering box, another common weak point, had developed excessive play, so I replaced it with a rebuilt unit to restore that signature M-car feel. With the mechanicals on their way to being sorted, I focused on the aesthetics. The Le Mans blue paint needed a multi-stage correction to restore its depth and gloss. After carefully wet sanding and machine polishing the surface, the rich metallic flake came back to life, giving the car that unmistakable M5 presence. The original Shadowline trim was faded, so I refinished it in high gloss black to match the factory look. The iconic style 65 wheels, known for their deep dish design, had suffered years of curb rash and oxidation, so I sent them out for refinishing in their original two-tone silver and anthracite finish. Wrapped in a fresh set of Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, they looked as good as new. Turning the key, the starter cranked, and after a brief hesitation, the S62 roared to life. The unmistakable burble of the M-tuned V8 echoed through the shop, its note sharpened by a freshly installed Super Sprint exhaust system. The throttle response was instant, and as the revs climbed, that glorious induction sound reminded me why the E39 M5 is considered one of the greatest sports sedans of all time. With everything mechanically sorted, it was time for the maiden test drive. Rolling onto the open road, the M5 immediately felt tight and responsive, just as it did when it left the factory. The steering was razor sharp, the suspension firm yet composed, and the power delivery was intoxicating. Flooring the accelerator, the V8 surged forward effortlessly, propelling the car from 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds. The shifts from the 6-speed manual transmission were crisp, and the entire car felt like an extension of the driver's wheel. This 2003 BMW M5, once forgotten and neglected, was now fully restored to its former glory. A car that had seen nearly 2 decades of wear and tear was once again a precision instrument of performance. The E39 M5 represents a golden era of BMW engineering, one where analog driving pleasure met cutting-edge technology in perfect harmony. Owning one of these today isn't just about driving a fast car, it's about experiencing a masterpiece, a machine that still stands as a benchmark for sports sedans. Another classic saved, another legend revived. This is why we do what we do. Stay tuned for more restorations, more automotive icons, and more journeys into the past. This is Chrome and Classics.